Hello, everyone. Charles Watts here. Welcome back to Inside Arsenal. It is Sunday. I hope the bank holiday weekend is going well wherever you're watching this around the world. Where I say, wherever you're watching this around the world, you need to be watching it in the UK if your bank holiday weekend is going well. But wherever you are watching it, I'm sure your weekend is going swimmingly thanks to yesterday's win for Arsenal at Villa Park. Now, of course, I did do my immediate sort of post-match reaction video yesterday and player ratings, but this is the more in-depth reaction show. So we're going to go all over what was a fantastic win in the end for Arsenal. Look at what Mikel Arteta has been saying. I'll go over my ratings again for those of you who did not get to see the video yesterday. Got loads of reaction. Thank you, as always, for you guys getting in touch, giving me your thoughts on the game at Villa Park. So I've pulled a lot of that together and got that included in the show as well. But before we get on to that, just want to start on the sort of big news, of course, just a little bit away from that game. It was a bit of a talking point before the game and after the game, but it's on Gabriel Jesus. It's the big news story, no doubt about it, at Arsenal right now. Jesus picking up a groin injury. Team News and Ticks, of course, very good friend of this channel, reporting that yesterday before the match. He was proved correct. Mikel Arteta confirming it afterwards that Jesus has picked up a groin injury in training. Now, we don't know yet how bad that is going to be. He's going to have a scan today to find out the extent of it. And this is obviously big news. We've got less than a week left in the transfer window. Arsenal right in the middle of agreeing a deal with Nottingham Forest for Eddie Nketiah. That could potentially be impacted by this Gabriel Jesus news and the scan results that Arsenal are going to be waiting on today. So it is a big story. Mikel on it said, look, unfortunately on Thursday at the end of a training session, Gabby felt something in his groin, so we need to assess him and need an MRI scan to see. Tomorrow or Monday, we will have the results. So it's pretty concerning. I mean, the Gabriel Jesus stuff is frustrating because he's had a good summer. He's looked very, very sharp. I think Gabriel Jesus, he looks fit, he looks healthy. And this is a blow. I mean, hopefully it's just going to be a week or so and that'll be fine. You know, even if he misses the game this weekend, you then got the international break. Hopefully you say, you know, he'll be back after that. But if it's a long-term thing, something that's going to impact him, maybe miss, I don't know, a couple of months of the season, and then when he comes back, he's searching around for his form, then that is a big thing. And it's obviously a big thing for what it means on Eddie Nketiah. Mikel was also asked about the Eddie deal and whether this is going to impact it. He says, at the moment, Eddie is our player. He's very committed to us, regardless of the noise. He's here and he wants to be here with us. He's really happy that we won the game. And Nketiah was on the bench yesterday. You could see that. He was in the squad, obviously. The camera kept flashing to him and he's on the bench. And you can understand that this might have a little bit of an impact on this deal. Personally, now, my opinion on it is you still sell Eddie. I just don't think you're going to get 30 million pounds. If you don't sell Eddie now, I don't think you're going to get 30 million pounds from him again. So I think you just sell. And either that leaves yourself short and you try and find a way around it, or you just go out in the market in the next week and you just buy yourself someone who you want, or try and get yourself someone you want. I don't want them to panic and sign someone that they don't want and just sign someone for the sake of it, because then they may as well keep Eddie. But I just think, you know, Eddie's long-term future is not at Arsenal. I think that is very, very clear. And if you don't get this deal, if you don't allow this deal to go through, I don't see where you get 30 million pounds again, because he's going to go further down into his contract. He's not going to play much. His value is just going to go down. So I'd still sell anyway, personally, in my view, and try and get something done in the final week. And maybe fingers crossed, like I said, if Jesus is only about, and he is actually he's very good at recovery, Jesus. He comes back from his injuries pretty quickly. So, you know, you've seen in the past he has done that. Even from really significant injuries, he's come back early. So hopefully this isn't too bad, but it is bad timing. There's no doubt about it. And it is a blow, especially when you've got so many different cogs sort of turning at the moment because of what's going on in the transfer window. So we'll wait and see what these scan results are. Hopefully we should find out very, very soon on Gabriel Jesus. Okay, let's talk about more fun things, shall we? And what was a really good win for Arsenal. Difficult game, tricky game, could have gone either way. I didn't think Arsenal were great for a lot of it, but as soon as they took the lead through that man, Leandro Trossard, they went on and won the game very, very well. I thought it was a really impressive final half an hour for Arsenal after what had been a tricky time up to that point. I thought they were a better team in the first half, but it was Villa who had the one big, big chance when Ollie Watkins put that shot wide after Gabriel was robbed of possession. I thought Arsenal played well, though, in that first half, albeit a little bit slow. They had one really good opportunity, which Martinez did well to save from Saka. And then, obviously, the second half panned out the way it did. Arsenal weren't great. We're indebted to that Raya save. He made it, and then Arsenal went on, won the game. You look at the stats from it here from canonstats.com. Expected goals 1.6 all. I mean, you would think the 2 Ollie Watkins chances are basically make up all of those expected goals pretty much for Aston Villa. 2 golden opportunities for Ollie Watkins, who on any other day would have scored them. I mean, it's almost a flip, this game, on what happened at the Emirates last season when Arsenal had some really big chances. Think of Leandro Trossard's that Martinez saved from point blank range. And he didn't. They didn't score, and then Villa went on and snatched it with 2 late goals themselves. It was kind of a flip role reversal of that match, wasn't it? What happened? But shots 11-9, shots on target. Arsenal had a little bit more possession. Arsenal dominated, 60% of the possession, 518 passes to 337, dominated in the field tilt percentage as well. So it was territory wise, possession wise, Arsenal were a better side, but they needed to ride their luck at times. They did in the first half with Watkins' miss, and then this unbelievable save from David. Right, yes, Ollie Watkins should score that goal 100%. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see a screen grab. You've got to score that goal if you're the striker. You've got pretty much the whole goal to aim at. But you look at where David Raya is at this exact moment when Watkins is about to get his head to the ball. He's still behind the line. He's not set. He's not on his feet. You just think there is no way he can possibly react in time to save that. But the speed of thought and reaction to get up, to get himself on his feet enough to be able to throw himself to make the save. It was just a brilliant, brilliant match-winning save from David Raya. I mean, 53 minutes that happened. That goes in. Villa go in front. It's a long way back for Arsenal at that point. And it was the crucial moment in the game for me. It was a fantastic save from David Raya. He was named man of the match by the Arsenal fans I saw afterwards. Deservedly so. I think it was such a crucial moment in the game. And it follows on from that fantastic save he made last week against Wolves as well, when the game was just 1-0. And that gave Arsenal the foundation to go on and win the game when they did grow into it. Trossard came off the bench. What an unbelievable impact from Leo with the goal, with the assist for Thomas. Well, not the assist, but the pre-assist for Thomas Partey as well from that run down the left. He helped set up a golden chance for Martin Odegaard afterwards. It was just a brilliant impact from Leo, who looked angry, didn't really celebrate his goal until, if you're watching on YouTube, you see William Saliba was basically telling him to do his celebration in front of the Arsenal fans. There was a bit of anger and frustration, I think, in that celebration. He thinks he should be starting. I think he should be starting. I think he will be starting from this point. I'd be very surprised if he's not in the starting 11 next week when Arsenal take on Brighton at the Emirates. And Thomas Partey, of course, wrapping things up with that second goal. Mikel Arteta on the result, he says, well, very happy. First of all, a really tough place to come. Great atmosphere of football, a really good team, really well coached, great collective organisation and a huge individual threat. But we found a way to win, especially because the team, I think, played with a lot of personality and understood the game better and better as it was going, apart from those 10, 12 minutes in the second half. And when we had to rely on certain individuals, we did, like the situation of David. That is an unbelievable save. And when we made the changes, the impact that they had, it was tremendous to the team. So when a team now starts to be equipped that way and they start to be able to navigate through different contexts in a match, then becomes a team that can win in any place. And today we've shown that. So Mikel Arteta said Arsenal can win in any place. And that is certainly, hopefully, going to be proved right, because the next 2 away games, of course, are Spurs and Manchester City. On Trossard and his impact, especially away from home, he says, well, first of all, when you don't get picked, there is certain ways to react. And Leo, he's upset, but he's upset to show on the pitch how good he is. He's not upset and then come in now because he wasn't playing. Then it was like this, and that's a huge quality. And then when you put him in, the starting 11, he does exactly the same thing, and that's a big message and a big example for the rest of the team and for myself. But today we had a few, because when Ricky came on, Calafiori's talking about, he was unbelievable. And then you ask Reece to come on for 5 minutes, and it's the same. And the boys that unfortunately didn't have the minutes, they are supporting the other ones. So that's what we need. Yeah, I thought Calafiori's impact was very, very good. He did make me laugh, especially when he got stuck in with Emi Martinez and everyone. And but he did show personality, Calafiori, I thought, when he came on. Trossard, unbelievable. I saw James Benge tweet. I think he did a story, wrote a piece around it. I didn't actually read it. Sorry, James. But I saw the tweet when he's like, if you've got this player who makes such an impact off the bench, and I know obviously we're now saying he's got to start. But when you have a player who makes the impact that Trossard does off the bench, there is an argument that, well, why don't you keep him on the bench? Because when he does come off it, he makes an impact like no other substitute does. And in a way that is true, because you look at his record of scoring off the bench, it's better than anyone in the Premier League. But having said all that, I still think he should be starting. But you see what I mean when we're talking about that. Right, let's go over some player ratings now, shall we? Obviously, I did these yesterday, so I'll rattle through them fairly quickly. Raya was a 9 for me. Could have given him a 10, as I said yesterday, but I gave him a 9. And White's 7, Saliba 8, Gabriel 7, Timber 7. Saliba easily could have been 9 as well, really. I thought Saliba was fantastic. Just brilliant. So many good clearances, so strong. He's just the best defender in the world. I really think he's the best centre-back in the world, 100%. Partey, I gave a 7. Thought Partey had a good game. Got done by Morgan Rogers a few times. So did Declan Rice. Rogers, I thought, was unbelievable for Aston Villa. What running power he has, my word. Looks a hell of a talent, Morgan Rogers. And he gave Partey and Rice a really tough time in that midfield. But I thought, especially Partey, I thought stuck to it well. When he did have the ball, Thomas Partey, I thought he used it excellently. I thought he was Arsenal's best player in possession. Got his goal as well. I thought it was a really good battle between those two. So I gave him a 7. Odegaard, I gave a 7. Rice, I gave a 6. I didn't think Rice played very well. He did all right. He did what you kind of expected. It was an average performance from Declan Rice, basically. And that's rare. Normally, he's well above average, but I thought it was an average performance from him. Saka, I gave an 8. I thought really grew into the game in the second half. Havertz was all right, worked hard. That was about it for him. I gave him a 5, and Martinelli, I thought, struggled, gave him a 4. The 3 subs who came on, Trossard, obviously stunning performance, gave him a 9 out of 10 as well. So those are my player ratings for yesterday's game. Right, let's go through what some of you guys have had to say now, shall we? We've got Paul here who says, superb result from the boys. Getting worried about the attack, however, with Martinelli's form and now Jesus' injury. Yeah, I think a lot of people are feeling the same as you. Mahir says, Trossard has to start the next game against Brighton. I agree. I think he will. I think it's very hard to make an argument for that not to happen unless you're James Benge, of course. OL says, Partey is at least an 8. 7 is low. We as a fan base don't appreciate Partey enough. He is an exceptional player. I thought he had a good game yesterday. As I said, he was caused a lot of troubles by Morgan Rogers, and Morgan Rogers got the better of him a fair few times. But that was going to happen because how well Morgan Rogers has played. I don't think anyone was going to stop him. But Partey, to a lesser extent, Rice, but definitely Partey, I thought stuck to it well. And he had a big influence when Arsenal had the ball and going forward. And you saw he scored the goal in the second half himself. He was involved in the first goal as well. So yeah, I thought he had a good game, Thomas Partey. David says, hi, Charles. Really like what you said about Partey. As you said, Rogers for Villa was really good, but you also said TP's progressive passing was better than anyone's. I think he's been out a long time and will take a bit of time to get match fit in the Premier League. Different than pre-season games. With Marino coming in, they can all share the load. Rice and Jorginho, final some midfield depth. Yeah, 100%. Daniel said, Partey and Rice were run ragged by Rogers. Let's keep it 100. There was a time Rogers turned Rice into a pretzel, for Christ's sake. He was so good, Morgan Rogers. I couldn't believe it watching it. I know he's a good talent, and when I've seen him, he's always impressed me, but he looked something else yesterday. The ability when he's on the ball to drive forward and run away from his man. And and Partey and Rice, they struggled. They struggled to deal with him. But I did think there was lots of good points, certainly in Partey's performance as well. Ash got in touch. Thank you, Ash. He says, early days, but that was a performance of potential Premier League champions. Hard fought, patient, gritty performance when the lights were shining the brightest. Arteta mentioned us being short in attacking areas, so let's hope we can get reinforcements in that area. Bring us an attacker on top of this already fantastic defence, and we are ready. Raphael Duckett says, Raya, Trossard and Odegaard played well. Saka didn't seem to have the energy to go past the fullback, and Martinelli ran, tiring out the fullback before Trossard came on. Good team performance. Carp DM says, 5 for Havertz is harsh, in my opinion. He may have not been as sharp in the final third, but his work off the ball, bringing others into play and overall energy was immense. It's always the case. It's a given with Kai Havertz, the way he plays. Always going to work so hard off the ball, always going to keep bringing others into play with his running. I thought he did that very well yesterday, even in the last minute in injury time when he did that and set up a chance for Odegaard, who didn't actually get shot away, but great running down the channel by Havertz. And that's what he's going to give you when he plays at 9, even if he's not that effective in the final third, which I didn't think he was yesterday in terms of goal threat. And when he did have a sight at goal, he wasn't the greatest on it. But I thought the rest of it was good. But I still thought 5 was probably fair enough, considering he was a striker. And Mr. Neves says, questions for tomorrow's show. Is that the best save we've seen from an Arsenal keeper since Seaman? I presume you're talking about Seaman's save against Pesky Salido for Sheffield United. Is that the best save? I don't know. Aaron Ramsdale's save from James Maddison at Leicester a couple of years ago, the free kick, which he tapped onto the bar, is one of the most amazing saves I've ever seen live. Like, it genuinely took my breath away. It was just in. It was a goal. And he had to fling himself the whole way across goal, somehow get his hand to it. It was behind him almost and keep it out. I still think that Ramsdale goal, that Ramsdale save against James Maddison, for me, just about tops it. But it's a good question. Let me know your answers in the comments below. Do you think that was Arsenal's best save from a goalkeeper in a long, long time? So that's what you guys have been saying. Thank you so much, as always, for getting in touch. And what a fantastic Sunday it is. 2 wins, 6 points, 4 goals scored, no goals conceded. Brighton at home next, who are top of the table, of course, so that's going to be a difficult game, but it's been a good start to the season. You really can't complain. If you can go and win that game against Brighton and go into the international break with 9 points from 9, with those tricky away games to come after the international break, I think Arsenal and Mikel Arteta will be very, very happy. But before that game against Brighton, obviously now we've got clear run through the transfer deadline day. Will Arsenal get anything done apart from Mikel Merino? He has now passed his medical. He's been in London this weekend, just waiting for that now to be announced. So that will come maybe even today, early tomorrow. You never know when it comes to Arsenal with announcement. They push them back all the time. But that is done and dusted. That's going to be announced very, very soon. But then what do you do? What is the result of this Gabriel Jesus scan? Is it a bad one? What's that going to mean for Eddie Nketiah? What does that mean for Arsenal potentially adding another attacker? All of that is going to unfold in the next few days. So it could be an exciting time. We'll wait and see. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. Do have a fantastic end to your weekend, everyone. I'll speak to you very soon. Bye-bye.